Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your StockMiner, Brian Johnson, and we had ourselves a little bull run today, breaking some of those overhead levels I had told you about with my overhead targets above that. If you played along, you did very well. Pretty much called the break and called the top of today's move. So it was a good day for trading. Everything up over 2%. NASDAQ strong, coming back on now. It has been kind of the weaker one for the last few days, but now it's coming back with a fury. Looking at the Dow on a 60-minute, you saw where my entry was. Obviously above that 10 300 area. I said 10 325, 10 350, something like that. Next area to look at was the 10 400 mark, and that's what we did. So if you're playing along on the Dow, you could have picked up, I don't know, maybe between 50 and 100 points, depending on if you were aggressive or if you were more conservative. And you can see that we've now gotten up and over the 200 period moving average, which means on the daily we are up over the 200-day moving average. Actually, a pretty strong day today, I must admit. Even from a volume standpoint, volume was pretty good today on the bull side. So here we have the break of that blue line. Move up to the 200, back. I mentioned if it hit that 200 again, there's a good chance that we would probably see it break, or it would be breaking here in the near term future. And sure enough, that's what we saw. So above this 10 325 area, once again your entry to the long side. Now we are in. Okay, so what do we need now? What we always need: confirmation. Are we going to come back down and retest that 200, or are we just going to keep blasting our way upwards? For you Ellioticians out there, sure looked like a potential wave 3 to the upside. So we can dance around the hole. Is it an ABC or is it a 1, 2, 3? Doesn't really matter. The move is up. That's the most important. So we will watch tomorrow to see, after a big move like this, will we get a consolidation day? Will we get any kind of movement in the market whatsoever? And if we do move back down, will we hold the 200 on a retest? That will be the next big question to answer for the markets. NDX on a 60-minute. If I can get it to pull up here. There it is, up and over the 60, up and over this 1880 level. I said the next level was 1890. Yes, that's right. Above 1890? Yep, 1900. So, where do we hit today? We hit up about 1899. So after we cross this level here, a more aggressive place to get long. If you got in above 1880, could have played that up for a good 20 points today in the NASDAQ. As you see, it's coming on strong. So what are we watching tomorrow? To see if there's any kind of a pullback. If there is, will it come back and retest this area? If it doesn't, this thing's off to the races. This thing gets above 1900, and I don't see any more until about the 1920, 1930-ish area on the NASDAQ. Take a look at it on the daily, and here's where my target would be, obviously, right back here to the 50-day moving average. Very plausible scenario at this point. Things look good. The trend was strong. Volume was nice. So finally, this break here above the 200 and ultimately above the 20 and this blue line, then it held. That was our one bullish scenario today, with the confirmation to the upside makes it look very rosy in the markets. NASDAQ on a weekly. That is only Tuesday, so we're not going to deal with this, but we are back to the 20-week moving average. We'll be watching that coming into the end of the week. These candles can change drastically. But this makes sense. Remember I told you about these levels wanting to hold? Sure enough, looks like we're getting that, exactly that type of price action out of the markets. These areas down here holding beautifully for the bulls. SPX on the 60-minute blasting up and over above 1105, took you right back to 1115. Those were my areas of overhead resistance, working out perfectly today. You can see it stopping right at just at above whatever the 1115 mark. You can call that above. That's just fine. Next target could be what? Well, I'm going to say the blue line. And then I'm going to say maybe the 50-day if it continues its march to the upside. And that is the big F. Will we get some sort of a pullback in the morning? Will we see some sort of a drop tomorrow? Maybe we see consolidation, a little bit of a high base. That's very common. Had a pretty good size move today. So don't be surprised if we get some sort of, consolidation day tomorrow. Thought maybe we would get it today. Far from it. Big move to the upside today. All we were watching though are will these levels break? They did. We took our entry and away we went. So now the next level above these, if it continues to the upside, right up here into this, I'd say blue area, 1130-ish to 1140-ish area. SPX on a weekly also looking to maybe come back and retest the 20 week. It is only Tuesday. All of this can change very quickly by the end of the week, but would seem like the most likely scenario here. VIX on a daily also dropping, so now we're starting to fall back down, getting confirmation in the VIX on the drop today. From a weekly standpoint, look where we're at. Remember I talked about this, coming back into heavy support on the VIX. So now here we are, kind of in a quandary when it comes to the VIX and the markets. And that is, if the VIX moves downwards, it's got heavy support. If it stops and decides to move back upwards, that typically means more downward motion in the markets. Markets sure didn't look like they wanted to move down today. So here we are. Will we see some sort of a, maybe the VIX drops off a little bit, market moves up a little bit, and we start to get some consolidation? It's anyone's guess. These are the levels to be watching. VIX gets back below all these moving averages, and we could be in for a pretty decent move to the upside in the markets. Apple on a 60-minute also moving up today, up $5.41 on a nice little hold up here. So Apple's doing its job, getting above this 257.50 mark I've been talking about forever, and now above 258, now into the 260-ish area. So continued move to the upside. I think 260, 250 is very plausible on Apple. You can see here we are continuing to move up. This was not the most bullish of candles. However, tons and tons and tons of support below it, and didn't even try to retest it today, moving straight up along with the markets. Once again, NASDAQ looking strong. Apple on a weekly trying to hold, what is it? Big blue, you betcha. It's big blue line. Gut feeling's going to tell me that we will not get back above blue for the week. All right, I'm not saying that we don't move up for the week, but I'm not sure that we beat Big Blue for the week. Maybe we finish at, on, above. Well, not above. I think we're either at or on this blue line by the end of the week. FAS, look, here was your break. Break above that blue line, a great entry to the long side. So anything above this 23.50 mark, I think, was my entry. That could have taken you back up about 50 cents today on the trade, coming right back to this next level of overhead resistance. So now we will watch carefully as FAS decides whether or not it's going to push through it, sit on it, sit below it, pull back a little bit. That would be a logical move. Up and then pull back, maybe coming back to this 20-day moving average. All things to be watching coming into tomorrow. Once these heavier levels are broken, I like to wait a day just to make sure that we do get some confirmation by one side or the other. FAZ also falling down. Anything below 14.50 was your trade to the downside. It was good for maybe 25 cents today. Not a huge move in FAZ, but it doesn't move all that much. However, coming back to these lower levels of major support. Look how beautifully these trend lines have worked. They are gorgeous right in through here. From a daily standpoint, this is very important to take note of. Now, maybe I could tweak this ever so slightly to keep this line in there, but we get any further push down below the 14 area tomorrow, it probably makes for a pretty good trade to at least back to the 50-day moving average. All this consolidation is starting to work its way out, and that direction may be down. So looking at the 50-day moving average on the FAZ. Continue today trade, FAS, FAZ. All right, guys, that was actually a pretty strong move by the bulls. I got to hand it to them, actually. I got to give them credit on that one. They did a good job today, good high volume, especially once we broke these overhead levels, which I had been mentioning for quite a while, and it was off to the races. Now we need confirmation. Let's see if we can get some of that tomorrow out of the bulls. Curious to see how this actually resolves itself. We'll see if this momentum can hold up for the bulls and how long this momentum will hold up for the bulls. Ultimately, I think the bears are going to win this fight in the longer term. But for right now, money could be made to the upside. Wait for tomorrow. Wait for more major breaks of those overhead levels we talked about. and make the bulls prove everything to you right now, because it has been a pretty good move, but nothing to really jump up and down about if you're a bull. Okay, see you guys later. Take care of your money. If you are interested in knowing how I draw my trend lines, how I do my analysis, how I find the stocks I trade, talk to me about the mentoring classes. They are invaluable to you and your trading. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.